The echoes of battle had faded, leaving behind a silence heavy with anticipation. Smoke curled through the air, mingling with the acrid scent of burned metal and scorched earth. The battlefield lay strewn with remnants of what had once been a valiant effort. A crude barricade reduced to rubble, fallen comrades scattered as grim reminders of the cost of war. On one side, the enemy gathered in raucous celebration, their victorious cheers ringing out like a triumphant anthem over the chaos. They danced among their banners, their confidence palpable as they believed they were on the cusp of total domination. Amidst this scene of revelry, despair hung thickly over our ranks. The soldiers' faces were etched with fatigue and disbelief, eyes hollow from relentless fighting. Many had already resigned themselves to defeat, whispering prayers for a swift end rather than facing further slaughter. It was hard to blame them. The odds were stacked against us. Our defenses had crumbled under an unyielding assault, and hope flickered dimly like a candle in a tempest. Yet tucked within this tapestry of gloom was an ember, an idea that might yet shift the tide. The whispers began among the few remaining leaders. What if we called in support? A question that ignited something long thought extinguished, the possibility of a human intervention. Known for their unpredictability and tenacity, humans were more than mere soldiers. They were harbingers of unexpected tactics and sheer willpower. As enemy laughter echoed around them, our leaders made a fateful decision that would change everything. A call for help from those who had once faced adversity with unwavering resolve. In the heart of the crumbling command tent, among stale air thick with tension, stood Alara, a commander forged in the fires of conflict. Her reputation had not been built overnight. It was etched in the annals of warfare across multiple planets, with striking green eyes that seemed to pierce through despair. She was known for her quick thinking and innovative strategies, qualities that had propelled her team through insurmountable odds time and again. Each plan she devised had brought them victories they once deemed impossible, yet this moment felt different. Heavier, Alara had witnessed the brutality of war firsthand. As a young cadet, she had survived the fall of Concordia, a planet that once thrived before ruthless invaders laid waste to it, leaving nothing but ashes and memories. That experience ignited a fire within her. She vowed to protect those who could not protect themselves. Thus began her journey. Climbing the ranks from an untested recruit to a revered strategist known for outsmarting her foes. As she surveyed the defeated faces around her. Now, doubt crept into her mind. Would they still believe in her after this catastrophic setback? But deep within, she felt the flicker of hope she had always carried, the same hope that had rallied her troops on countless occasions. The thought of human reinforcements took root in her mind. If anyone could turn the tide against insurmountable odds, it was the humans. With renewed determination, Alara resolved to lead once more. Rallying her comrades for one final chance at victory. As Alara gathered her remaining officers around a makeshift table, the air buzzed with tension and uncertainty. The flickering light from a single lamp cast shadows on their weary faces, each reflecting the weight of impending defeat. We cannot afford to let despair consume us, she implored, her voice steady yet urgent. The murmurs of doubt among her comrades echoed louder than the enemy's distant celebrations. Then, a young lieutenant named Kale spoke up, breaking through the gloom. What if we reach out for human support? His words hung in the air, sparking an electrifying moment of realization. A human force might be just what they needed, not only for their combat prowess but also for their unorthodox tactics that often left opponents bewildered. Alara considered this proposition carefully. Humans had once been dismissed as reckless. However, their fierce spirit and unpredictable strategies had turned the tide in battles before. They thrived under pressure and adapted rapidly to changing circumstances, qualities that could counteract the overwhelming force arrayed against them. Imagine the shock on our enemies' faces when they see humans fighting alongside us, Alara said, a glimmer of hope igniting within her. The thought of their intervention shifted the atmosphere in the tent. Eyes brightened as her officers began to nod in agreement. With renewed resolve, she made the decision to call for reinforcements from Earth. It was a gamble, but one that could very well reshape the course of this conflict and resurrect their fading hope for victory. The atmosphere on the battlefield shifted dramatically as the first signs of human reinforcements appeared on the horizon. Dust billowed behind a fleet of rugged, armored vehicles that powered through the debris-laden ground. Engines roaring with a defiance that shattered the enemy's illusion of impending victory. Alara gathered her troops, a mix of anxiety and excitement coursing through them as they watched the humans approach. As the vehicles rolled to a halt, hatchbacks flung open, and soldiers leaped out, their movements fluid and practiced. Clad in advanced combat gear, they exuded a gritty determination. Each soldier showcased a dazzling array of weaponry, from pulse rifles to experimental energy grenades. Tools crafted not just for show but for adaptability in chaotic environments. Unlike their alien adversaries, who were content to revel in their perceived triumph, these humans were focused and ready to fight, with no time to waste. A sergeant barked orders, breaking their group into tactical squads that swiftly maneuvered into formation. They deployed reconnaissance drones that whirred overhead, scanning the battlefield and feeding real-time intel back to Alera's command center. The enemy's celebratory chants turned into confused murmurs as they faced this unexpected force of nature. Alera felt her heart surge with renewed vigor as she watched the humans position themselves with precision. Their strategies cut through the chaos like knives against resistance. They were experts at exploiting weaknesses with unorthodox approaches that left enemies disoriented. The tide had turned. Where there had once been despair was now an emerging hope that sparked fervor among Alera's troops. The battle was far from over, and victory was once again within reach. As the roar of human reinforcements filled the battlefield, not everyone welcomed their arrival with open arms. In the midst of the mounting excitement, a palpable tension simmered among some members of Alera's command. Voices murmured in corners while uncertainty crept back into their hearts. They remembered the last time they had relied on humans, their bold strategies faltering under pressure, leading to devastating losses that haunted them still. Sergeant Dejar, a battle-hardened veteran with a scar that traced down his cheek, crossed his arms defiantly. "This is madness," he scoffed at the assembled officers. "Humans have a penchant for chaos. We left them behind for a reason." His skepticism resonated amongst several other officers, who nodded in agreement, hearts heavy with the weight of past failures. Alera felt the sting of their doubt, but she knew their history with humans had been colored by fear rather than facts. Still holding on to fading memories of reckless maneuvers, they questioned whether humans could truly ally with them or would instead create more chaos amid an already fractured battlefield. Recognizing the need for unity, Alera stepped forward, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "I understand your concerns," she said firmly, locking eyes with each doubter. "But remember, this is not the same situation. These soldiers have answered our call in our darkest hour. We must trust their capabilities and stand together if we wish to survive." Her conviction silenced the skeptics momentarily, yet it lingered in the air, an unspoken challenge awaiting resolution as the battle loomed on the horizon. As the battle raged on, the human reinforcements quickly showcased their remarkable ingenuity, launching a series of clever maneuvers that began to turn the tide in favor of Alera's forces. One of the first tactics employed involved a coordinated distraction. Teams of humans deployed small drones that whirred above the battlefield, emitting blinding flashes of light and piercing sounds that disoriented the enemy. The chaos forced their opponents to redirect their fire, giving Alera's troops the opening they desperately needed. In another audacious move, a squad led by Sergeant Reed executed a flanking maneuver that seemed almost theatrical in its precision. While others engaged the enemy head-on, Reed's team stealthily navigated through the rubble, positioning themselves behind an enemy stronghold. With flawless timing, they launched a surprise assault, catching the enemy off guard and causing their lines to fracture under sudden pressure. Meanwhile, Corporal Gale took advantage of her surroundings with resourcefulness that left the aliens rattled. Using improvised explosives crafted from their own abandoned weaponry, she set traps that ensnared several of the overconfident foes, turning their own technology against them. Each blast was met with cheers from Alera's troops, revitalizing their spirits and reinforcing their belief in victory. The humans' unorthodox tactics continued to surprise the alien forces. Their adaptability and bravery on the battlefield became evident as they moved seamlessly between offense and defense, allowing them to exploit every weakness. With each clever maneuver, the balance shifted, igniting a newfound determination among Alera's soldiers, who now fought alongside their human allies with renewed ferocity and confidence. The atmosphere among the enemy ranks shifted from raucous celebration to stark disbelief as the first signs of chaos erupted. Alien soldiers, once confident in their victory, found themselves staring in confusion at the unexpected maneuvers executed by the human reinforcements. What had begun as an easy triumph quickly morphed into a nightmare as the booming blast of improvised explosives echoed across the field, sending shockwaves through their formations. "What's happening?" one particularly brash alien warrior shouted, his confidence evaporating as he witnessed his comrades falter under fire. The sound of frantic communication crackled, Over their channels, a cacophony of voices struggling to comprehend how their carefully laid plans had unraveled so swiftly. The drones overhead, once thought of as mere nuisances, now became a source of panic. Disorienting soldiers who were not accustomed to such tactics. As Sergeant Reed's flanking maneuver reached its apex, the enemy's lines broke apart, causing a ripple of alarm. "Fall back. Regroup," leaders cried out. But their voices were drowned by the uproar of confusion and fear that spread like wildfire among their ranks. Soldiers began to scatter, abandoning their posts as they tried to escape the onslaught from a foe they had underestimated. With every clever tactic employed by the humans, dread took root deeper in the hearts of the aliens. Their previous confidence turned into frantic gestures and wild reactions. Some even clutched at their weapons in disbelief, unsure whether to fight or flee. The tide was unmistakably shifting. What had been a glorious celebration was now devolving into chaos and terror, leaving them scrambling for answers amidst an onslaught they never anticipated. Amidst the chaos of battle, moments of camaraderie began to emerge between human reinforcements and their alien allies, forging bonds in the heat of conflict. As the dust settled on the battlefield, Alara witnessed an unexpected scene unfold. A human soldier, Private Marcus, had rushed to the aid of an injured alien fighter named Thal, who lay trapped beneath debris. Despite the ongoing skirmish, Marcus disregarded his own safety, lifting the rubble with sheer determination. "Get to safety," he shouted urgently to Thal, who struggled to comprehend the gesture from a species they had regarded with skepticism. But there was no time for hesitation. As shots rang out nearby, Thal grasped Marcus's arm and pulled himself free. In that critical moment, a flicker of respect ignited between them, a realization that their shared goal transcended their differences. Elsewhere on the battlefield, Sergeant Reed and an alien sharpshooter named Vera worked in tandem. Reed relayed coordinates while Vera expertly picked off enemy targets with precision shots from her energy rifle. "Cover me," Reed yelled as he advanced to a better position. "I've got your back." Vera responded with a nod, her faith in him growing as they executed their plan flawlessly. As they fought side by side against their common enemy, laughter mingled with gunfire, an unexpected camaraderie that started to bridge the gap between species. The sacrifices made by both humans and aliens began to weave a narrative of unity amidst chaos, transforming former prejudices into mutual respect. With every act of bravery and support, they forged a new alliance defined not by past grievances but by a shared commitment to survival and victory. As the battlefield reverberated with the sounds of conflict, tension reached a boiling point. Alara, her heart racing, observed every movement through the flickering chaos. The humans and their alien allies were advancing, pushing the enemy back, but time was slipping away. In the heart of the skirmish, Alara realized that a decisive confrontation awaited, a collision between her forces and the alien commander. Varkis, notorious for his ruthless tactics, Alara assembled her forces for one final push. "We give everything we have left," she shouted. The determined faces of her troops, both human and alien, steeled in resolve as they raced forward. Climbing over debris, they stormed towards Varkis' position, who stood coolly at the rear, confident that his forces could withstand any assault. As they closed in on the enemy's command center, Sergeant Reed and Corporal Gale executed a daring flanking maneuver that caught Varkis' attention just as Alara engaged him directly. Their eyes locked in a fierce challenge. This was as much personal as it was tactical. "You expect to win against me? Your little alliance is nothing," Varkis roared back, raising his weapon. But just then, a fierce explosion erupted nearby, ignited by one of Gale's improvised explosives, and it sent shockwaves through the enemy ranks. In that instant of chaos, Alara seized her chance. With unrivaled bravery, she charged forward, facing Varkis with the conviction born from her shared struggle with the humans by her side. Their fates hung in the balance as a new level of intensity engulfed them all, signaling a turning point where sacrifice and heroism would reign supreme, even against overwhelming odds. In a climactic surge, Alara's forces, fueled by sheer determination, finally outmaneuvered Varkis and his beleaguered troops. As the dust settled from the fierce exchange of fire, the enemy's defenses crumbled, and their commander fell to the combined might of human ingenuity and alien resilience. The battlefield erupted with jubilant shouts of triumph from Alara's team, a mix of human and alien voices celebrating their unexpected victory. However, amid the exhilaration lay a somber undercurrent. The cost had been heavy. Many brave souls had laid down their lives for this moment. Alara surveyed the field as medics rushed to attend to the wounded. her heart heavy with the weight of those they had lost. Amongst the fallen were allies from both sides, individuals who had fought against all odds. A tribute to their courage was woven into every victory cheer. Private Marcus, who had once doubted his place on this battlefield, stood shoulder to shoulder with Thal, the alien fighter he had saved. They shared a silent acknowledgement. Their bond forged in the fires of conflict now symbolized the unity of their species. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the battlefield, Alara gathered her troops. "We have shown them that together we are unstoppable," she proclaimed, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. "Let us honor our fallen by continuing to build this alliance and protect our future." The cheers that followed were not just for victory but for a shared resolve, a commitment to carry forth the lessons learned and honor the sacrifices made in this hard-won triumph. In the aftermath of the battle, as Alara and her allies gathered to reflect on their hard-won victory, a sense of unity washed over them. The remnants of conflict lingered in the air, but so did the indelible bonds that had formed between humans and aliens alike. They shared stories of sacrifice and bravery, each account highlighting the valor that transcended their differences. Private Marcus, standing alongside Thal, voiced what many felt. "I never thought I'd be fighting beside one of you," he admitted, looking at the alien fighter who had once seemed so foreign. "But now, I can't imagine doing this without you." Thal nodded solemnly, acknowledging that courage was not confined to species. It was a universal trait that had emerged in their darkest hour. In another corner, Sergeant Reed and Corporal Gale exchanged insights about tactics and strategies that had worked well for both sides. "We've learned a lot from each other," Reed said with a grin, recognizing how their combined ingenuity had disrupted the enemy's plans. "This alliance has proven we're stronger together." Alara stepped forward to address her united forces. "This battle has taught us invaluable lessons," she began, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "We have forged alliances not just in blood, but in trust and respect. Let us carry this understanding into our future endeavors." As they cheered together, it became clear this was not just a victory over an enemy, it was the beginning of a profound partnership that would shape their collective destiny and reinforce that valor knows no boundaries. As the dust of victory settled, Alara surveyed her united forces, a potent symbol of cooperation and strength. Yet, amidst their celebration, a growing sense of unease lingered in the air. Reports from scouts indicated that the enemy they had just defeated was only a faction of a larger coalition, one that would likely retaliate with renewed fervor. Whispers of other threats beyond their current adversaries began to circulate, hinting at looming dangers that could challenge the fragile peace they had fought so hard to establish. Alara gathered her commanders for a strategic debriefing, aware that the lessons learned from this battle were just the beginning. "We stand on the brink of a new era," she stated, her gaze sweeping over the room filled with both human and alien leaders. "But let us not forget that our enemies will not take this defeat lightly. They will come back stronger and more determined." In the days that followed, joint training exercises were planned between human and alien forces, fostering deeper collaboration and trust. Private Marcus and Thal took the lead, showcasing their unique skills in a series of drills designed to prepare them for future conflicts. Meanwhile, Sergeant Reed and Corporal Gale worked tirelessly on developing new tactics that combined the strengths of both species. As alliances solidified and strategies were refined, a shared resolve grew among them. They understood that their survival depended not only on their military might but also on the bonds formed in adversity. The horizon loomed dark with potential threats, but together they would meet whatever challenges lay ahead, standing united against uncertainties and forging a path toward an enduring peace.